This week's episode is sponsored by the new supernatural horror, The Demon. Tom returns to the lakeside home where his father died, hoping to confront his past, but instead, something beneath the water begins to answer. As his behavior grows distant and disturbing, his wife and loved ones are pulled into a nightmare that feels older than memory itself. Blending the psychological dread with the creeping, inescapable horror, The Demon explores grief, possession, and the horrors we inherit. Some forces don't just haunt you, they consume you. Watch the trailer and learn more now.
Hello everyone, Trace here, and in case you haven't heard, there are not one but two shark movies out from directors Tommy Vercola and Rennie Harlin, the latter of whom is returning to the world of aquatic horror 27 years after his 1999 masterpiece, Deep Blue Sea. Joe and I just couldn't pass up an opportunity to cover both of these films on the Patreon feed, so if you head on over to www.patreon.com/horrorqueers, you can listen to both of our episodes on this creature feature / disaster movie double feature for just $1 at the Bangs tier. And just like all of our other Patreon episodes, there will be major spoilers for both films. You've officially been warned. Again, that's patreon.com/horrorqueers at the Bangs tier for just $1. And now, your double feature Patreon clip. And we're going back into the water to discuss Tommy Vercola's Thrash, formerly known as Before the Storm, and formerly known as Shiver.
Oh my god, it's another film that has been a little bit delayed, Trace. So this one, we don't fully understand why it's been sitting on the shelf, but I think some people are going to speculate, oh, it's because it's a not very good shark movie, and I'm going to say, you shut your fool mouth because this is a good time.
Okay, y'all, so Sony had this slated for theatrical release last summer, then postponed it to this summer, and then dumped it on Netflix. So, I think you're right. It's because, people are like, oh, it's not a very good movie. But I have seen worse Sony movies this year and last year than this movie.
And also, anybody who watches shark movies knows what a bad shark movie looks like.
Yes!
And folks, this is not one of those. Am I going to pretend that this is one of the best films I've ever seen? Is it the best shark movie I've ever seen? No and no. But does this movie have its tongue firmly planted in cheek, knows what it's doing, people are having a good time? Occasionally janky FX, but also not at times. There's a lot to go with for this.
I was shocked by looking at reviews for this, both professional and Cat and Letterboxd reviews, where I was seeing so many 1.5 star ratings.
Oh, come on.
I gave this a 3. Truthfully, this is kind of barely a movie. It's more of a collection of scenes that are just thrown together. There's not really a big narrative thrust outside of, there's bull sharks in a hurricane that's flooded this town. But I'm going back to the Tommy Vercola of it all. This movie is so dumb, and it knows it's dumb. It is only here so that you have a good time. And honestly, I've seen people compare it to Crawl, the Alexander Aja alligator hurricane movie, and apt comparison. I think
this one's dumber.
Oh, it's much dumber. And I think because the big difference is, in Crawl, we're following a father and his daughter and a dog in a single location, whereas this has a bit more of a disaster movie bent, where we're following a couple different sets of people. Some people that don't ever interact with each other, by the way.
And that, to me, is actually one of the things that does knock this down a peg or two, is the fact that you keep waiting for these people to at least come together and have a shared experience in the climax. And the fact that we end it and they have not met. These two groups of people have stayed siloed. And I just thought, you could do a complete other cut of this film where we do, a part 1 and it's just Lisa and Dakota. And then you could do a part 2, which is these fucking foster kids, and they never meet or interact. I appreciate that there's only so many different ways that we can talk about water and sharks and different things, but deep water, come on, folks.
Honestly, if you just called it Sharks on a Plane, I would have been fine with that. But the thing is, this movie takes itself too seriously to be called Sharks on a Plane.
Sure, and technically, we already do have other Sharks on a Plane movies. So.
Well, we covered...
We covered one. I can't remember, but that one was okay.
It was. I thought Deepwater was better than that, personally.
Okay. What did you think of the fact that we have no less than 4 different screenwriters on this?
Not surprising. Actually, I don't want to say not surprising. It's. I thought this movie was fine, personally.
Okay.
I didn't think it was any better or worse than Thrash, the other shark movie we talked about this month.
See, I don't think this one is as much fun. As you were starting to allude to, and I think I interrupted you.
Sure.
This one is just, it's a little too serious at times. It really wants to hit you in the emotional gut.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it works and other times it doesn't. But yeah, I would agree with you. I actually do think that this is a decent-ish movie.
Yeah, it's a thing where, like, okay, I think it's no better or worse, but, like, for very different reasons. Like, I think Thrash has the very short runtime going for it, and it has, again, that sense of fun that you were talking about. Whereas Deepwater, it is, like, 20 minutes longer than Thrash. It really aims for schmaltz quite often. But I think in terms of, like, just, this feels more like a disaster movie than a shark movie, and Thrash feels more like a shark movie than a disaster movie.
Yeah, I would agree. Although, folks, if you haven't seen this, and I'm actually not sure how many people will have had the opportunity to see this in theaters. If you are listening to this around the time it drops, don't worry. I'm going to age the episode right now, but it will be out on like VOD in a couple of weeks. So like look for it in mid-June. But yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of sharks in this film, but there were whole sequences where I thought, oh, it's more about surviving the plane crash or getting out of the plane. And the sharks just happen to be that extra, oh, fuck, now you're doubly screwed.
Very much so. And I mean, it's a big deal because this is Rennie Harlin returning to the world of shark cinema following, I mean, arguably his last great film in 1999's Deep Blue Sea. We can quibble about the Mindhunters classification.